Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel where skincare is all about progression over perfection because perfection doesn't exist. Today we're going to do a first impressions of NikkieTutorials' Nimya. Now, there is a reason I'm doing a first impression rather than giving it time and, you know, all that kind of stuff. And I'll come to that soon. But this is a collaboration with my brother Robert, who if you don't know is my twin brother. You can follow our channel, The Welsh Twins. So you can go and watch his video where he talks about makeup application over the top of these products. And that is because we feel like this really is more of a makeup prep brand than a skincare brand, if that makes sense. And while some of these products do have some amazing skin loving ingredients in them, I feel like these products are all about how your skin looks after the product has been applied and how it works with makeup. All the products and chapters will be timestamped down below, so you can skip. You might want to skip this bit because I'm just going to go on a little bit of a rant at the moment. There is an overwhelming amount of people, celebrities, influencers launching products right now. Some of them make sense, some of them don't. Some of them don't, like Ellen DeGeneres, for example. What? Why? NikkieTutorials launching a makeup prep line, which I'm going to keep referring to it as makes sense. An influencer that talks about makeup launching makeup makes sense. An influencer talking about skincare launching skincare makes sense. Celebrity who is an anti-vaxxer or is a workplace bully, for example, launching skincare doesn't make sense. Are there too many launches at one time? In my opinion, yes, there are. But it makes sense. A lot of people are like, why is she launching skincare? And I don't think they really listen to what these products do. Another thing, especially being in the skincare community, I got a lot of like DMs saying, who is she to launch skincare? I only want dermatologists to be launching skincare. It's very rare that a dermatologist has been involved in all the skincare that you own. This idea that only dermatologists can launch skincare, it doesn't make sense. Is it a plus when a dermatologist has been involved in the creation of a skincare brand? Yes. Is it a must-have? No. I want a cosmetic chemist to be involved, yes. But remember, these people, these influencers aren't in their kitchen mixing up products. They work as part of a larger team. So when people are like, they don't even know what they're talking about, the influencers, celebrity has probably gone to these people, the chemists, marketing people, all that kind of stuff with the ideas, what they want the results to be, thus creating a product. And I'm fine with that. I'm fine with an influencer or a celebrity being part of a bigger team as long as it makes sense. One thing I was pleasantly surprised about is, you know, on this channel I do the Instagram versus reality series where I call out people and brands who use filters to promote false claims and results about their products. I did like an influencer special where I talked about influencers who use filters on their videos. NikkieTutorials appears to be using filters on a lot of her videos. Is she selling skincare? No. Is she selling the makeup? No. In fact, in a lot of her sponsored content, she doesn't appear to use filters. She's very vocal about the use of Facetune. Even more importantly, when it comes to her brand Nimya, the promotional videos and promotional images on the site appear to be filter-free, not photoshopped. Maybe a little bit of makeup has been used. Of course, color correction, all the usual stuff you get when creating a editorial piece, a story for a brand. But overall, everything looks very natural. We see texture, we see Nikkie's texture in her skin as well. Another thing going back to influencers launching skincare, none of these products are really revolutionary. They're all things we've seen before. And I used to be under the impression that I felt you shouldn't launch a product unless it's something we've not seen before or something that not many people sell. But when I think about it, that doesn't really make sense to me. Surely it's better to try and reinvent or reimagine or better the most well-used products, you know? And it makes more sense money-wise to create products that people use on a daily basis so that they love your product and repurchase. That makes sense to me more now. Like, what am I going to do with, I don't know, you know, I was trying to think of a product then. I don't know. It makes sense to come out with your take on everyday essentials, right? I'm just looking at my notes because whilst I was watching her video, I made some notes as well. So she's been working with this brand for 3 years, making sure she's 100% happy with the product she launches. There's also something about Nikkie that whilst I'm not a fan, that's not to say that I'm not a fan. I've watched her videos on and off. She seems like a really nice person. I enjoy watching her videos when I see them. I think she's an amazing role model. She hosted the Eurovision, so she's already way up there in my books now. But, you know, not enough to be completely biased about this review. But there's something about this brand and her that I feel like I want to support as far as like spending my money on the products. I'll give it an honest review, but when it comes to the products, I want to support it. I feel like for someone to be able to create this brand, invest their own money whilst going through what she had to go through in the last 3 years, or, you know, whenever I'm not sure of the timeline, but, you know, being forced to come out, her home robbery, all these other things. It's incredible. Like, I think, you know, she's gone through a lot and still managed to come out with what looks like a good brand. She also let us know that there's a few other products that she hasn't quite launched because they're not 100% ready, which to me is a good sign, because it means it's not just a cash grab and she's just, you know, throwing out whatever. So I got notes because I tried to film an initial reaction video 3 times a couple of weeks ago and I just didn't post it. So I'm going back through my old notes. She's not doing PR, which I think is great, because what that allows her to do is, first of all, her fans and subscribers, it allows them to actually get her product. So all the stock is going to paying customers, which I think is actually a really good idea. And also along with that, you get the initial reviews are real reviews. Of course, PR doesn't instantly mean you're going to give a fake review, but I feel like a lot of her friends would have given this a very, very good, shining, raving review. There are a couple of times in this video where Nikki admits to not knowing about certain skincare ingredients existing before creating this product. And again, that's something that doesn't bother me. It's something I saw in the comments. It's something I saw in my comment section. That doesn't bother me. I think, again, as I said, she was working as part of a team. So she's probably gone like, I want their skin to glow when using this serum. So then the cosmetic chemist probably been like, well, this ingredient would be great. She'd have been like, what's that? They would have taught her. Do you know what I mean? Like, things like that don't really bother me. I don't think as an influencer, you need to be an expert. You know, Nikki's been an influencer for years. She's been using products for years and years. She knows what she wants. She knows the directions to give. You know, you can tell she's been part of this process. And that's the difference here between, say, for example, Nikki starting her own brand with her own money, by the way, which I think is super impressive, versus Trisha Paytas, for example, just splashing her face on something. It's definitely a cash grab. Okay, let's start talking about the products now. Packaging wise, I'm not a fan of the packaging, and I'll tell you why. This is a me issue, right? The blue and the yellow, odd, very interesting color combination, but for me, this gives me L'Oreal for Men. Very early days L'Oreal, you know, especially this moisturizer. Whilst it feels big, I think it's unnecessary clunky. We'll come to that in a minute, but color wise, not for me. It's not something I'd like to leave out on my desk. But you know, I don't like to leave things out unless it's black, clear, purple, you know, that's a me issue. So yeah, I do get a little bit For Him vibes of the packaging, oddly enough. So I'll be using these on my skin now and looking at the ingredients, but please remember, you can't just read off an ingredient list and that's a review of a product. We will be looking at the actives and the products that they highlight and seeing how it feels and look on the skin. I have just finished filming another video where I tried a lot of skincare products as well. So any irritation you see is from a product that my skin didn't like, not these products. I've used these for a week and my skin's absolutely fine with them. So let's start off with, so I'm going to hydrate and then we're going to start off with the License to Glow serum. Here it is, the License to Glow serum. It's huge. It's massive. You can actually see on the side there. We got a bit of cheating going on here. Like, all this bit isn't serum here. It's kind of like this packaging where it's like a huge box, but it's a tub encased in a huge box. So there's the illusion that you get more product than you get. But for $37, this is huge. So when I first saw this, I was like, it's blue, it's gimmicky, it's, you know, as you can see, it's blue. Very, very gimmicky being blue. And it's essentially just glitter, really. But then I watched the reveal video. Now I was watching it like, and listening to the ingredients, I was like, you know what? I kind of actually want to try this one. It smells like pencil sharpenings, which I don't think is a bad thing. It's got no real scent to it or signature scent, which I don't mind, but I do love how glowy this leaves my skin after. Now, in real life, does it look like glitter on the face? Yes, it does. It does. So let's have a look at some of the key ingredients. Pineapple fruit extract, which is a mild exfoliant, moisturizing, soothing. Yes, true. Grapefruit extract, which is a great antioxidant. Yes. Marula oil helps hydrating the skin and reduces redness. The grapeseed oil, smoothing and protective. Squalane, which they say is anti-inflammatory, reduces redness. It's also moisturizing. It's skin identical. It's vegan and denatured alcohol as well. Other than those, we just kind of have some stabilizers and emulsifiers, coloring, blue coloring, of course, which, yeah, I'm not a huge fan of, but I think what we have to remember here is this product I don't really think is made for a skincare enthusiast. This is made as makeup prep. This is made for someone who's going to put foundation or a base or whatever it's called on top of this, and you're going to get that glow from underneath kind of look. I think that's might be how it works. Go and watch Robert's video to definitely find out. As a standalone skincare product, whilst it has some really interesting ingredients in, this serum really is packed with all things that you do associate with glowing skin. You got the gentle exfoliation, hydration, moisture, soothed looking skin. So I do enjoy using this. If this didn't have those glitters in, I would probably use this on a daily basis. It doesn't feel sticky on the skin. My skin feels really smooth. It doesn't feel greasy. It doesn't feel oily. That's a great thing about Squalane, is it's an oil, but it doesn't have that oily, greasy texture. Serums are where you want to invest your money in, and I think for $37, is it? You get a really good amount. So I think it's a fairly priced product. When we talk about this brand, I consider it makeup prep because whilst this does give you nice glowy skin, it's all very instant. And I feel like there are other ingredients that could have been used in order to give you that instant glowy result, but also help out in the long run. So skin brightening ingredients like niacinamide, maybe something like tranexamic acid in there as well, which makes it difficult to sell to Canada. But you know, there are other options when really here what we're seeing is moisture on the skin, giving us that glow. We do have mica in here, which is of course that glitter, so I'd love to know how that is sourced. It may be on their website. I'll double check. If it is, I'll put a note here. But yeah, for me, it's a makeup prep product. If I want my skin to look good, like maybe whilst I'm filming or having pictures taken or I'm going out somewhere, then yeah, like I'm going to a hen do soon. I might take this with me for the night out to give my skin a nice glowy look in the dark when it's not going to look too, you're not going to literally see that glitter on my face. I think it's nice. Under makeup, I bet it looks lovely. As a standalone skincare line, if you're just doing your own skincare, maybe if you don't mind looking a little bit glittery. For me personally, no, it's not a product I'm going to use every day. I feel like it's missing key ingredients that can lead to permanently glowier, brighter looking skin. But yeah, I don't hate it. It's not going to make its way into my lineup, but again, makeup prep for me. The next product brings back a lot of memories. This is the Cooling Eye Stick. This takes me back to like 2010 K-beauty. Was it 2010 when the Tony Moly like panda thing came out? It is a cooling eye stick, obviously. I believe on the website it says that actually all their products are made in Korea, or maybe just this one, I don't know, which is very interesting. The way Nikki talks about this, it does seem more like a moisturizing, hydrating stick with a cooling effect, which is fine. It does feel very cooling. It's not been in the fridge or anything. There is something I really like about this product. Oh, do you know what? That feels so good. That feels so nice. And I have been using this just constantly to see how it feels on the skin over the last week, and I've really been enjoying it. My under eyes just look good. They just look nice. I think because it leaves like this glowy sheen over the top of it, and usually once I've done my evening skincare routine, I like tie it again. But I've really been enjoying this just as like a soothing, chilled, kind of relaxing thing to do. I can still feel a slight coldness on my skin, which I really like. But the one thing I love about this compared to other cooling eye sticks or cooling products, it doesn't use any kind of menthol or mint or anything like that. Because can you imagine that around the eyes? There are eye sticks that I've used that felt like they were burning my eyes because it's got menthol in it. And this one doesn't have that. It's actually a really good size as well. I was surprised at how long it is. So this uses xylitol as its cooling ingredient, which you do find in a lot of cooling eye sticks along with a menthol ingredient, but this is just xylitol, which is great. I really like this. So when we look at the ingredients, we have caffeine, which they say reduces puffiness and inflammation. Sure. Green tea extract calms irritation, evens out discoloration. So let's mention that actually, because whilst this is an under eye stick, the brand recommends you use this everywhere. So any dry patches, anywhere where you're feeling like maybe dry, that's why I just said that. So when it comes to things like green tea for evening out discoloration, is not my go-to for evening out discoloration, I must say. I feel like there are much better ingredients for that rather than green tea, ones that will provide a quicker, in my experience, a quicker result. Squalane anti-inflammatory and redness, again, they also neglect to say that it's moisturizing. It's very moisturizing, which is one of the best things about it being in a eye stick, right? So you're moisturizing under eyes, and you could use this anywhere else in your face. Silk amino acids, which I've never heard of before, and I couldn't find too much on it. So they say silk amino acids reduces fine lines. I couldn't find all that much information on it. Doesn't mean that that's not what it does. It's just not popularly known for doing that one. So it does seem like a moisturizing stick too, which is good. It doesn't have the menthol in, which can be very irritating, not just under your eyes, but all over your face as well. So yeah, I've enjoyed using this. I've enjoyed using variations before. It's not something that I would usually choose to purchase myself. Do you know what I mean? Like, if it gets gifted to me, I use them up. If it comes in a launch like this, I will use it. I mean, glycerin, squalane, green tea, all sounds good to me. It all sounds good. So this can also be used as a primer as well. So go to Robert's video to find out if it's actually any good as a primer. But this is the thing, is it's a skincare makeup hybrid, which I feel wasn't pushed enough in the launch video. To be honest, as skincare, it's meh. As skincare makeup hybrid, I think it's so much more impressive. I think it makes more sense as to why everything's very visual, in my opinion, rather than long-term results driven, in my opinion. Price-wise, this is £22, which dollars even, which is kind of on the more pricey side of affordable, in my opinion. But you do get a lot. You get a lot. Yeah, you get a lot. That's going to last you such a long time. Such a long time. It's very difficult to fully use up one of these eye sticks. I think essentially as well, Nikkie is an indie brand, right? She's invested all her own money into this. So when it comes to products like this, they are going to be a little bit more expensive. Looking at the packaging, as much as I'm not too keen on it, it's impressive. It looks expensive. It looks like it costs a lot of money. So when it comes to indie brands, I think when they're not a huge conglomerate, it is up to you if you want to support them, you know. I think the more expensive kind of prices are a little bit more justifiable. Would I go out and buy this again? No, because I don't really use eye sticks. Okay, now moving on to the moisturizer. This is the Where It All Starts cream. The nail's got like a little bit skin up for me, if you know what I mean. But yes, as far as the packaging goes, I don't like the purple. I don't even know colours, what am I talking about? I don't like the blue and orange. Personal opinion, L'Oreal Men, that's the only reason why. I think the packaging is quite clunky. Like, I definitely wouldn't be travelling with this, but it's nice. I can see why people would like it. So this now has a very signature scent to it. It kind of reminds me of Fenty Skin, I must be honest. Like, if Body Shop was saying it, it'd be called like Dark Musk. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's on the sweeter side of unisex kind of fragrance. So again, this is labeled as a primer moisturizer hybrid with a marshmallowy texture. So I noticed that's like that the makeup world is using a lot at the moment. Marshmallow texture. There's a few primers that have a marshmallow texture, when really I think it's just called whipped. Usually is the texture called in skincare. So Nikkie says that usually she likes her primer sticky. So I don't know how well that translates into skincare. Luckily, I've used this and it's not sticky. Like, because I don't know a lot about makeup. When I heard Nikkie initially say, you know, I like a sticky primer, this is sticky, I was like, that's gonna be horrible. So yeah, again, you can see like the glitter in it, the mica. You won't be able to see it there. It gives this very instant glow. It's very thick, but hang on, let me get this on first of all. I feel like it takes a lot of work to rub in, and that's probably because it is that moisturizer primer hybrid. But when it's on, it's rubbed on, it's not greasy, it isn't sticky at all, it's not oily in any way whatsoever. It does add this kind of like evenness to my skin that I quite like. You can smell it. So this smell stuck around all day, in the sense that not that it was overpowering and it wouldn't go, but every so often I'd be like, oh, can anyone smell that? What is that? And I remember that it was this product. So if you have an actual allergy to fragrance, you may not enjoy this. So my skin looks very, very glowy at the moment, and it's not greasy, it's not oily to the touch, it's not, but look, you can see on my hands how how much mica there is in there. I don't know if you can see that very well. Can you see that? I don't know if you can. But I can see my hands are basically covered in glitter, essentially. So in here we have glycerin, which you find in anything moisturizing basically or hydrating. We have honey, which is soothing, antibacterial, yes. Lactic acid and AHA that gently lifts dead skin cells. Lactic acid, AHA that gently lifts dead skin cells. Yes, I don't think there's enough in here to be classed as a exfoliant. Usually it's kind of like a pH buffer kind of thing more than anything. So yeah, I wouldn't be looking at this as an exfoliating step, obviously. And then fragrance as well in here, the delicious Nimya scent. Yeah, not overpowering, but you definitely keep catching whiffs of it. it. So yeah, we have mica again and silica, which can mattify the skin, also help absorb excess oils, which it does do. I've used this like 3 days in a row now, and I don't get oily at all. I was like, first of all, like, oh, this is sitting on my skin quite nice. I guess like what a primer does is it kind of like more sits on the skin than absorbs right into the skin. Again, why I feel like this is more skincare makeup hybrid than skincare. But I was like, this is probably going to start dripping off my face. The more oily I get throughout the day, this is going to start just like oil slicking off my face. It doesn't. It doesn't at all. It's a very, very good moisturizer. Again, it's got that mica in that I'm not really keen on at all. It's got that glittery kind of effect to it, which I don't really like. Sorry, I'm peering down here at the ingredients again. We also have fragrance like hexylcinnamol, limonene, linalool, the linalool. These are fragrances that have to be listed separate to Parfum fragrance because they are known irritants. So yeah, if you don't like fragrances in your skincare, your skin won't like this. And that's really, again, when you look at it from a real skincare perspective, it's a very basic moisturizer. Again, not in a bad way. It's got that visual effect to it though that is probably gonna look nice under some makeup. Again, go to Rob's channel to see. But do I want this moisturizer to do anything for me other than moisturize and hydrate? Not really. No. And it does a good job at that. I'm not getting oily. Again, so maybe on a night out, this is a combination I might use. But again, as a daily, everyday moisturizer, without makeup, no, I don't think so. Because it's got that glittery effect to it. If I'm just using it to go out and walk the dog and do daily chores, it's going to be a little bit strange. For me, personally, because I'm not a makeup wearer, if you like the idea of like, you know, that glittery shimmer to your face, and you're probably going to really enjoy this. The last one, which I'm not going to talk about too much, is this setting spray, because I don't know setting sprays. Setting sprays are a makeup thing, so go to Roberts because he's done a test, I believe, on how well this works. So Nikki mentions that in any good setting spray, you need an ingredient called PVP, which is true. And apparently this setting spray has a high amount of PVP. Oh, here it is. Set it and forget it. Set it and forget it setting spray. So yeah, it's PVP, aka polyvinyl pyrrolidine. I'm so good at pronouncing things. So the thing is, you often see this in hairspray. That's where you're going to see it because it basically creates this film and keeps everything still. In hairspray, it keeps everything solid. In skincare, it creates a very thin film over the skin to basically keep everything on your face, so makeup. It can also have a slight tightening effect as well. This may break you out and it's like you're going to want to cleanse off properly at the end of the day. Is it going to keep your makeup on your face? I think so. I should think so. We'll see how well Robert did, but if it has a high amount of PVP, then yes, it should do. But saying that, PVP is known for not working so great in humidity, so if you live in a more humid climate, this may not be the best. I did spray this on because I don't really know what setting spray is, right? So I sprayed it on my skin the other day and I didn't get oily again all day. It's a bit leaky. I don't know if you can see that, but it's been leaking a little bit. Again, very, very heavily fragrance, even to the point where if you told me this was a body spray, I would believe you, kind of thing. It's a very thing is with these kind of scents, it's a very particular scent that I think you have to have a very particular want for. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not my go-to kind of smelling fragrance. But other than that, there are no skincare benefits in here. It's literally just to keep your face on, which is fine. So that's why I'm not going to talk about too much. But yes, overall, I do feel like... Oh no, one more thing. The product I've been using more than any is this fan. So yeah, I've been using it to basically, after a chemical exfoliant, after moisturizer, to put my sunscreen on. I always kind of get ready under a fan anyway because I like to be cold. I'm not a hot person. And as you can see, my skin is very glowy. It's very glowy. This is powerful as well, by the way, but I feel like it's glowy on a surface level. I feel like this is the effect that you want from a base to your makeup. If you want glowy, dewy looking skin, it's a great base. For me to now go out and have like little glitters over my face, again, great if that's what you like on a night out maybe, but for me to go out and live everyday life and have this as my everyday skincare routine, probably not so much. So yeah, for me, this as a skincare line, It's average. As a skincare makeup hybrid, I actually really like this. I think it's super impressive. So yeah, very first initial impressions. Again, I've only had this for a week now. Do go and check out Robert's video where he's testing how makeup works over the top of this, because as we said, and as Nimya say, this is kind of like that makeup prep kind of line. So let me know what you think in the comments down below if you'll be buying this. You can watch some more product reviews here, some general light entertainment here, and I'll see you over there.